Welcome back everyone. I'm so friggin' pumped for this video. This video is going to be a tutorial and just a really quick, and when I mean quick, super quick review of the Prism palette. Look at how beautiful this is. I already kind of played and swatched with it yesterday, but this is gorgeous. I had to pick it up. Also the matte or the velvet black with this gold imprint, bomb. You knew I had to get my hands on it. Got it all out of the way. Let's get started. I'm gonna use the most fluffy eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna go into Unity. It's this basically nude shade. Since this look is very dark, our key is going to be to use tons of transition shades. I'm just placing this all over the lid, all the way basically into my eyebrows, let's be honest, because it's basically the same color as my skin. And then I'm flicking it up this way because we have this like effect going on, and I want to have that effect obviously on the side too, obviously. Next color is this like dusty, it's not a dusty rose, I would call it like a dusty lavender color. It's this one in here. It's called Allure. I love this shade, and I did a comparison against Bon Fresco off the Modern Renaissance palette, and there is a noticeable difference between the two shades, but I love these dusty purple colors. Oh my god, I'm so obsessed. And we're gonna again take this pretty high into the crease, and we're gonna flick. So you're flicking almost like where you would have your wing liner. So I'm just going up and down like this to flick out the shadow, and then taking this all in. This is a perfect transition shade for all those purples tones that we're gonna be putting down. And it's much easier to do this with lighter colors because you can kind of erase them if you mess up than it is to go in with the black and do that. I'm gonna go into this brown shade, ooh, where am I? Called Parallel. We're gonna go ahead and place that here and in the inner corner as well. I'm just using whatever's left in that brush. In here. I'm gonna work that into the crease and flick it out. Then I'm just gonna go back in with that dusty lavender shade called Allure, and I want to bring that shade back in. I don't want it to look so brown, I want it to look more purpley brown, you know what I'm saying? Now I will say this Obsidian color is not the most opaque black, which is fine if you're a beginner, but don't think you're gonna get this opaque blackness. It's more of like a dusty black, I guess, but it works. So I'm gonna place this on the inner and outer edges of my lid. And then going into the brush that we use Parallel with, it's that tapered one, I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. Like I said, once you blend it out, it's not a super opaque black. Once I kind of blend that a little bit, I'm gonna go in with that super amazing blending brush, blend this out and flick what I have up. I'm gonna go in with that tapered one and just go a little bit into Obsidian, like literally, you probably can't see that, but just a little bit to kind of help flick this up. See, try to get some pigment and then pull it down into the crease. Going in with a flat shader brush, I'm gonna go ahead and use Lucid. It is this white, it reflects gold, and unlike Cube, this actually is way more opaque. I don't know why. So taking a very small, like a precision flat top, this is this is the one I use. It's this one. I'm gonna use the end of this. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into Osiris. It's this, oh, so pretty. It is a metallic in the palette. It's this one, and it looks like navy blue, but it reflects violet. If you want it to look more like blue, like bluish and not super like metallic purple glitter, just apply it as is. It applies beautifully. You don't need Fix Plus. But if you want it to reflect more of those purple undertones, I've realized that if you wet it, then it reflects that. So I'm gonna go ahead and wet it because I do want more of the purple tones coming through. I'm gonna put this where we put Obsidian. We're gonna stay away from the center. This one's crumbly too, so just make sure if you see crumbles on your eye, you can just take the brush and push the crumbles down so that they don't fall out. And then taking that fluffy pencil brush, we're just gonna blend those edges out. And then I'm gonna take that pencil brush and kind of flick this shadow up a little bit too. Not taking it super high, just a little bit to like blend that metallic color in with the Obsidian. Just gonna blend it all out right here. It's gonna kind of touch up that outer corner of the Obsidian. Using that same little flat brush, I just cleaned it off. I'm gonna go into Dimension. Oh, this is one of my favorite shades in this palette. It is a duochrome and it's like a lavender. Just gonna pick that up like this and I'm gonna place this on the center of my lid. Look at that. Oh. Perfect. Back in with that pencil brush. This has nothing on it. I'm just gonna tap these edges to blend the two together. Love this, but I wanted to add just a little bit more pop to the center of the lid, so I used that same brush. I went into Lucid, which is that white reflex gold color, and I just used the opposite edge of my brush and I packed it on there and I just put it on the very center of my lid, just like this. Just kind of helps bring the eyeshadow forward. So, going into the lower lash line, I am going to use that Dome eyeshadow brush from Wet n Wild. Going into Allure again, that dusty lavender shade. I'm just going, I keep thinking about this eye. I'm just gonna buff this into the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take that little pencil brush right here. I'm gonna make sure I have the glitter off. I'm gonna go into Obsidian. I don't know if I showed you guys Obsidian. It's this top one up here. I thought, right here, I thought that was going to be more of a navy blue, like a dark one in the pictures, but it's definitely just a black, so. And I'm going to buff this on the outer half of my eye. With that small little flat top brush, I'm going to go back into Dimension, and I'm going to put this on the inner quarter of my lower lash line. And then using Lucid, I'm gonna go in using the same little packer brush. This thing is amazing. And I'm gonna put this as an inner corner highlight. I'm gonna use the a dark plummy purple eyeliner. Black works too, but I have this one in front of me. It is by Kat Von D. It's in Runaway. It's a metallic purple liner. I'm gonna rim everything with this, top and bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you a little bit of how I did the liner over here. All I used was this Rimmel 24-hour color precise eyeliner in white. It's not super opaque white, but it did the job. And then I used this Wet n Wild Mega Liner in Electric Purple. It's a liquid liner. So I just went in with the white, and I didn't try to be perfect with it, like perfect circles. I just kind of did little splotches like I would make my black winged liner. And then I went in between those white splotches with this purple, and I only took it about halfway down. I didn't want to bring it all the way in. I just wanted to do kind of like a half wing. And then when you're doing this, I chose to make the very tip of my liner white, because you were going to see the white more than the purple, because the purple's on the black. So the very tip of it, I just put one dot, and that was my tip, and then I just made it whiter as I went down. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, and while it's drying, all I'm gonna do is put mascara on and then put on a very fluttery lash. Oh, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows off camera too, just because that's really boring. What can I tell you? That is our finished look. I'm totally digging it. Review on the palette. I think the metallics are a little bit crumbly for the ones that I used. Nothing too bad. I still liked them. Just press down on the crumbles and then they end up being smooth. I have no idea how that works, but it works. Compared to the Subculture palette, Subculture is more grungy. Like how I would rate them, Modern Renaissance is like your girl next door, natural looks, glam, loves very romantic makeups, because you have all the makeups. Loves romantic makeup. She's very girly, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like what I see this palette as. And then you have Subculture, which is more like grungy, obviously grungy. Girl wears leather jacket with like some chucks. Prism, which I think is kind of a good mixture between the two. You can definitely get more grungy looks, especially with Throne, Obsidian, Osiris. Very grungy. And then you have very natural looks in here like Allure, Saturn, Parallel, Eden, Unity. Those can all create, including Pyramid and Sphinx. Very natural looks with this. You get a lot more natural tones in this palette compared to, compared to Subculture. Formula is a little bit different. It's not as powdery as the Subculture palette. The color I did have trouble with was Sphere. I didn't end up using it because every time I'd place it down, I would blend something else into it and it would just basically blend away. Like it wasn't as impactful as a punch. So I would definitely recommend putting a white base underneath that, especially if you're someone of color. Also, when you push this down, like when you put a brush in here, it does not pick up and apply the same way as like me putting my finger in here. You see how that's actually really vibrant? It doesn't apply that way. You kind of have to like get it powdery a little bit and then pick it up as if it's almost a pigment, and then don't even tap it off and place it down to even get that packful punch. Otherwise, if you try to like blend it like the other mattes, it doesn't show up that way since it is a very neon color. I think what's really going to sell you on this palette is the metallics. If you enjoy these metallic shades right here and the duochromes, sorry, I'm not in focus. If you enjoy those shades, then definitely pick it up. If you just don't really like those shades or you only like one, then obviously it's not really worth your time or your money to pick up. I did compare a lot of the similar colors on my Instagram, so like Allure, Saturn, Eden, Parallel, Unity, Sphinx, Pyramid. I think that's it. I took all those colors that look similar to the other palettes. Roxy and Eden look kind of the same, so I compared those. I will link my Instagram down below so you can see the swatch comparisons. Some of them are actually pretty similar, and then others like Allure and Bon Fresco in the Modern Renaissance palette are quite different. They look the same, similar in the pan, but when you swatch them, they're completely different. Again, link the Instagram link down below so you can check out the swatches of the similarity, like the similar colors in the palette compared to the ones in Prism. I think that is all I have for this video. Make sure you subscribe before you leave, and I will catch you guys on my next one. Bye!